The Virginia Cable Telecommunications Association and your local cable provider presents Cable Reports. Join us now as Cable Reports brings you up to date on current issues facing the Commonwealth through discussions with your local legislators and other policymakers from across Virginia.
From the General Assembly and the City of Richmond, I'm Woody Evans for Cable Reports, brought to you by the Virginia Cable Telecommunications Association and Comcast, connecting Virginians to their government. We're very fortunate to have two members, one from the Senate and one from the House, who represent Southwest Virginia. They're both chairmen of very powerful committees. Terry Kilgore, good to see you, sir.
Great to be with you, Woody.
Commerce and Labor, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Good, good. Senator Bill Carrico, I believe you chaired the Transportation Committee in the Senate.
That's correct, Woody, and it's a long process of me getting there, but I'm honored to have the opportunity to do it.
Wonderful. There's a lot of talk about the need to pursue a new Virginia economy as a result of the federal government sequestration. Talk to us about what's needed in terms of economic development for your senatorial district.
Well, we have different challenges and different needs, and I know that the federal government with sequestration, you see a lot of changes coming about in Northern Virginia and Hampton Roads, but for us it's the coal mining industry, the textile industry that we lost years ago, but we've been working to backfill those jobs with new jobs coming in. Terry and I have worked together on the Tobacco Commission and through economic development partnerships with localities to try to make sure that we have jobs coming into the area to replace those that we're losing. But with the federal regulations the way they are through the EPA and through the attacks on the coal industry, we're seeing the decline of those coal jobs leaving so quickly that we're just trying to stop the bleeding through some coal tax credit bills that I have and Terry has, Delegate Kilgore has, and through the realigning of the clean energy bill to allow us to have a look at what the governor's office comes up with. You know, replacing a coal mining job at the pay rate that they are at, you almost have to have three competing jobs to do that. So we're really trying to work to do some things to be able to replace those in the economy Southwest.
So that transition for a lot of your constituents must be very difficult and challenging.
It's very difficult, and what we're seeing is a lot of people are moving, Woody, and that's not what we really want to see. We want to revitalize the economy, but when you're making $80,000 to $85,000, $90,000 a year mining coal, there's just not a lot of opportunities to make those type of wages. But what we're doing is, you know, we've invested in a lot of fiber, a lot of what we call soft investments over the years, and we're right now seeing data centers, big data centers looking at our area because we're far enough away from Washington, D.C. or other areas where a dirty bomb or something like that could hit. And we're seeing folks looking out our way because we're safe. It's safer, and the environment out there, folks can, you know, get out and hike and everything. So we're seeing a lot of those investments looking at Southwest Virginia, and hopefully over the next few months we'll be able to make some big announcements in those areas, which will really help the tax base in far Southwest Virginia.
Talk to us a little bit more about those tax credits and the significance of those.
Well, you know, the tax credits, the coal tax credits right now would just help us stop the bleeding. You know, we're really bleeding. The world market's down. China is really slowed down as far as, you know, they were buying a lot of coal. The Far East, Europe was buying a lot of coal, but now with natural gas being at all-time low and available, and from different, whether it's Russia or the United States, you know, just flooding the market with low gas prices, you know, the coal is coupled with the EPA and the federal attack on coal, it's really taken a downturn. So these tax credits can really just help us stop the bleeding, help us help some of those companies stay. I believe there's been 7 major coal companies filed bankruptcy within the last year, and with filing those bankruptcies, they're laying people off. They're cutting medical support for their workers, and we're trying to step up and trying to help and try to keep what we have and expand our economy to bring some of those manufacturing. We're really focusing also on advanced manufacturing, getting those training available, because some of the coal miners have those skills like electricians that we can use those and transfer them to another job. So that's helpful also.
What about this concept called Go Virginia, where there's supposed to be more of a cooperation on a regional level?
Well, I think the best thing about Go Virginia, it's the people who really make the jobs available that are a part of this. You got your manufacturers, your business people who understand how creating jobs working on a local level with local leaders, understanding the niche for their localities and understanding what we need to be investing our money in to make our economy grow and to make things work as far as what we need to see to turn the economy around. Go Virginia, I think, is going to be an asset to not just Southwest Virginia, but South Side and across the whole state of Virginia, in order to make sure that we're spending our money in the right places when we go after jobs to create for the people of Virginia. And I think it's probably one of the best assets that we have going forward to creating a new economy here in Virginia.
To what extent does your district encompass agribusiness that employs a number of people?
Agribusiness is a huge market in Southwest Virginia. You have the cattle farmers. You have probably the two largest counties in the state of Virginia with agribusiness, with cattle farming, is Wythe and Washington County. You have the largest growing area of pumpkins in the nation.
Really?
In Carroll County.
Wow.
You have the largest Christmas tree growers of the Fraser Fir in Grayson, Washington County. So, we have national attention in Southwest Virginia in the agribusiness side, and we're going to continue to grow that. Broccoli, one of the biggest growing areas of the state with broccoli, fruits, peaches, apples. We have a lot going on in Southwest Virginia in the agribusiness side, and I think we capitalize on that every chance we get.
So I take it that's the same for your district in Scott County?
Yeah, very much. Cattle, beef production has been very big, and also we have to remember agriculture is still the #1 job creator in Virginia. It's a #1 economic driver. Virginia, the state as a whole, we export a lot of goods from our from our farmers, whether it's South Side, Southwest, and it's so important that we, and on the Tobacco Commission, we have invested in a lot of agribusiness opportunities, whether that be, bringing folks together in a cattle market, bringing folks together where they can sell their produce. I mean, it's been a big deal for us on the Tobacco Commission.
Talk to us a little bit more about the Tobacco Commission for those who may not remember. How was it and why was it created?
Well, the Tobacco Commission was initially set up in the late 90s, and it was because the federal government was withdrawing their quota system, and we had a settlement with Philip Morris and all the cigarette companies, all the tobacco companies. There was a suit filed by all the attorney generals, and Virginia got $3 or $4 billion out of that settlement. So we took, unlike other states, we took half of that money and put it back into the economies of South Side and Southwest where we lost quotas, and we're the only state, Woody, that paid our farmers for their lost quota. Great. The only state, and we paid, it was close to $200 or $300 million out
Wow.
of the commission dollars back to our farmers who lost that quota, so that they could transform, whether it be to pumpkins, whether it be to Christmas tree farms, whatever they could transform to, because tobacco was a big cash crop in Washington Washington County, Scott County, and Lee County were your three biggest tobacco farms. In Scott County, I think in 1998 it was bringing $12 million into those farms. So you times three of that. That's a big economic impact on your locality. So I'm proud to say the Tobacco Commission, we are continuing to invest in closing deals for our area, putting fiber in the ground, putting wireless towers up. We're really trying to be on the cutting edge of creating jobs in Southwest and South Side.
The other huge economic driver for the Commonwealth is the Port of Virginia, and I'm sure you deal with the Port of Virginia as a result of chairing the Transportation Committee. Talk to us about how the Port of Virginia is doing and how important it is.
Well, getting back to what we said about our economy in Southwest Virginia and the loss and the bleeding of the jobs in the coal mining industry, you're seeing that in the ports and in the transporting of that coal. Norfolk Southern laid off some 500 people, consolidating areas. Roanoke lost all those jobs. The port is where this coal is moved to. The port is where the goods that we ship from our agribusiness side to our cattle that moves across the areas. We have a transportation need, not just as far as the port is concerned, but as we move cattle across the state, as we move pumpkins across the state, we have to have some place to ship them out through, and the ports are a vital need to all of Virginia, not only to get them out, but to get goods back into the area. And I think you've seen a lot of efforts go into our ports. I think you're going to see a lot of strengthening of the legislation coming through transportation, of ensuring that our ports are functional and able to make money for the first time in a long time in doing that job for Virginia.
Because we have a real competitive advantage compared to New York, for example, and Charleston right now in terms of the depth of our port in order to handle those post-Panamax ships.
Absolutely, and the dredging of those channels is vital to us being competitive with other states, and right now we have the leading edge on that, and we're able to move more goods, and I want to make sure that our state stays at that competitive edge, and we're able to do it for the future.
And of course, Front Royal acts as a critical distribution center,
Absolutely.
does it not?
It does. Front Royal, we have a lot of distribution centers, or a lot of things that go through distribution centers throughout the whole state, and Front Royal is one of those top areas to do it.
You always have interesting issues on your committee, Commerce and Labor, and now you're dealing with drones.
Right.
What's going on with drones?
Well, I had to actually, it's local. It's a local issue for me because at the RAM, the Rural Remote Area Medical, this summer in Wise, it was the first drone medical package that was able to fly to deliver medicine.
Really?
Yes, and Governor McAuliffe was there for that, and it was a huge deal. And drones have now, the FAA, controls a lot of that. The FAA has approved Lonesome Pine Airport in Wise, Virginia, right next to UVA Wise, as one of the areas that they're going to allow drone testing sites and things of that nature. So it's an opportunity for us to bring R&D dollars on drones and unmanned unmanned aircraft back to our area. My biggest concern is that we'd have all these local ordinances, localities getting involved. So that's one thing that my bill is going to say, listen, let's hold back on the localities getting involved and actually stopping things. But the Courts Committee also has other bills that they're looking at on the sort of the unlawful side, peeping Tom, things of that nature, people using drones for reasons that they shouldn't be using drones for. But what we want to do, we see it as a job creator, as bringing money back into Southwest Virginia. We're trying to establish a statewide group to look at R&D possibilities for drones. So we're very excited on what we can do with it down in our area, because we realize that up around Dulles you're not going to be able to do a lot of R&D with drones because you're going to get in the way of big aircraft coming in, but that wouldn't be the case down there. We got a lot of space.
Now, we talked about the Tobacco Commission, but you've got other institutions in your district and in the immediate area, like your community colleges and other institutions of higher learning that are going to help in terms of this transition to a different workforce. Talk to us about that.
And you know, we've got our community college, you know, in our area, Mountain Empire, Virginia Highlands, Withville, Community College Southwest, and a couple of that with UVA Wise, and even Virginia Tech getting down, and Radford getting down in their area. But working with those institutions on advanced manufacturing, on, you know, getting our workers those skills that they need to move forward, whether that be a machinist, welders. Welding now is not like it used to be. You know, it's a lot of computer, a lot of technology that that's involved in welding or machinists. You know, all the making certain machines and things of that nature. But we are using our community college, our 4-year colleges, to help us get that jump start. And the Tobacco Commission has funded the advanced manufacturing. We've got advanced manufacturing in Abington, and they're working with these individuals to get these skills out, and to get, and if they have to be degrees, we're going to get the degrees, deliver those degrees. But I think that's what we're going to be able to offer in a few years, an educated advanced manufacturing workforce, because, Woody, for 2 generations we said everybody's got to go to college.
Right.
And now we don't have anybody that can fix anything, or that can make anything. So that's what we're working on.
So obviously, go ahead.
And we've talked to our manufacturing industry. They can grow their businesses by about 5% if we can develop the workforce to go in there. And you know, we have satellite areas, Duffield, Bluefield, and areas around that region that can help through the advanced manufacturing site to train these workers to do those jobs. We're just trying to you know, be able to give them a helping hand to grow that economy. And talking about the education side, you know, we need to do a better job helping our young people in the 5th, 6th grade understand that, you know, this welding job that you may enjoy can make you more money than being a lawyer. We can talk to Delegate Kilgore about that issue. And today's society, you know, I don't think those glamorous jobs people think you have to make a good living is not that. Heating and air, you can make a very good living at those jobs, and we need to retool our thinking in the education side to make sure that we have those competitive job opportunities.
So a more practical application, especially for those students who don't want to go to an institution of higher learning, and to retrain those workers who have been hard hit now.
Absolutely, and that's where we're trying to focus our attention, retraining that workforce that has lost their opportunities through the loss of the jobs in their economy in Southwest, and then making sure that the younger people that are coming up, because your higher education facilities see such a loss after the freshman year of college, because that was not the direction that those young people coming in, young men and women, were wanting to go, that career path, just trying to make sure they know where they're going, and training them to take these jobs and work and be a productive part of society in Southwest Virginia and not have to move.
Now, I'm going to assume that you have a significant number of veterans in your district as well, and we have a lot of them returning from theaters of war who have gained a lot of practical experience, and they're able to obtain credits towards certifications now, or are they not, as a result of that experience?
Absolutely, and Delegate Kilgore and I and all of our Southwest delegation have been very proactive in making sure that, you know, Veterans First priorities are mentioned in our press releases, so that they know to go to the right locations through the VEC and through the community college levels to get those qualifications out there, so that they can be recognized and they can work towards whatever career path they have when they get back to the areas, and to make sure that they know that they're appreciated by all of us for the service that they gave, and that we're going to try to return that favor by recognizing their skills that they learned through the military process, and utilize those skills in the workforce arena.
So for instance, someone who was in the medic corps
Yeah.
overseas comes back, has great practical experience, doesn't need to pursue a lot of the academics, can be certified a lot quicker, I
Right,
take it.
and I think we just had a bill that passed out of the House, Delegate Stolley's bill, who's a doctor, that would allow those veterans who are coming back, like a medic and things of that, to transfer, to transition more seamlessly toward getting that whatever certification they need, because obviously they've had a lot of experience in that theater that they served. So we need to help our veterans. We need to do more for veterans. You know, they put their life on the line to protect our freedom, what this country's about, and we've got to just step up and help our veterans make that transition.
And of course, there's a program called Virginia Values Veterans that tries to connect veterans with
That's right.
employers. I assume you're taking advantage of that.
Oh, and you know, just getting the word out is the thing that we've been trying to work on, the whole Southwest delegation, get the words out to our veterans that we're here to help. And you know, sometimes when you say the government's here to help, that doesn't mean a whole lot. But you know, when it relates to veterans, we really hope that it works out and hope that we can move them to a great paying job, because they've got a lot to offer society.
Now, what are you hearing, if anything, since the reforms that have been made to the standards of learning? We had a lot of teachers, parents,
Yeah.
and students complaining about the awesome burden that was placed upon them as a result of all those exams.
Well, we've been very you know, we've tried to reduce the number of tests, which we've done, and a lot of parents have said that's great, you know, because you know, you got a third grader taking you know, 10 tests a year, you know, that's traumatic in and of itself. So I think that we've been able to streamline a lot of that, working with our different education committees here, streamline those SOL taking, and you know, you got to test kids on something. And we got to figure out where we got to, you know, set certain standards. And I think Virginia, if you look at Virginia standards, we are the one of the gold standards for the whole nation, and we don't want to lose that. But we have reduced the number of tests. We are, you know, looking at more reductions. So just as long as we can get a standard, I think we're going to be fine.
And let me just comment on that. I chair the subcommittee on public education, and we see a lot of these bills. The one thing that we need to caution everyone on is we have this innovation committee to study the SOLs, and we've created that so that we don't water it down to the point that we don't have a testing area that goes below what other states do. I know the federal recommendation is to reduce those tests down to 17 tests, but sometimes you can go too far. And I think this innovation committee to study SOLs is where we need to focus our attention on, and not put the cart before the horse, and reduce them to the point that we're watering it down, that our kids graduating from high school are not competitive.
And of course, there's a continuing issue about how to create more competition in K through 12 by creating more charter schools.
Right.
Talk to us about the importance of that.
Well, I think your charter school initiative, that the constitutional amendment that you're seeing moving forward now, is one to the point to give the people the opportunity to speak, to see, you know, how the people feel about a charter initiative being managed by the state, and being in areas where school districts are failing, and the ability to come in and offer another opportunity through a charter school initiative. That's one of the issues that I feel that Delegate Kilgore and I don't have a big issue with. Our public schools really put a lot of effort in teaching our kids, and they do a phenomenal job. But so for me, that charter initiative probably is not as big an issue in Southwest Virginia that it is in Loudoun and Chesapeake, and places where you see schools failing. But I think, in my opinion, that my support for the charter school initiative amendment is to let the people speak on this issue, and let them move forward.
What about the need to increase teacher salaries? I know in the second year of the governor's budget, he's proposed an increase for teachers and all state employees, but that also burdens local government because of the match requirement.
Well, it does burden local government. I agree we do need to give our teachers a pay raise. Hopefully we can work on that this year, give them a little bit this year. It does, but a lot of folks do not realize that, for example, your local match could be anywhere from 20 to 50%. So your locality has to come up with that, and where do they get that from? Raising the personal property tax, raising the real estate tax. And that's what we have to be careful up here in Richmond. When we have money or we have some money to give a raise, we got to be also mindful that what's our locality, where are they going to get the money from to make their match. So we have to be careful of that.
Let's talk a little bit about transportation. I think that's in your lane.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the needs in your district, but also the needs of the state, how the 2013 funding is being implemented. What's the criteria for that, and how you see things developing?
Well, I think through House Bill 2, you saw a lot of changes to the formula in which the Department of Transportation looks at needs across Virginia and the rankings that they use as far as safety issues, state of need of good repair, all the things that they look at. Where we benefit, I guess, the most through this whole operation is through bridge repairs, because we got huge bridges. We got huge numbers of bridges in Southwest Virginia that crosses gullies, valleys, and rivers to get to wherever we have to go. We do have a lot of issues in Southwest Virginia when it comes to transportation, but they are so much different than Northern Virginia and Hampton Roads. We have the Coalfield Expressway. The Coalfield Expressway can be the lifeline to that region by a private partnership working to build that roadbed as they mine that coal and as they move through. And that was caught up in the process of House Bill 2, which we think that really needs to have another closer look at because of the private entities willing to work on it. We have exits that are now becoming congested off of I-81 because of the buildup that's in the areas in Abingdon and Wytheville and so forth that we need attention brought to for safety reasons. And then you have the parking lots on I-66 going into the Beltway. Then you have the third crossing down in Hampton Roads that has to be addressed in the tunnels because of the traffic that is moving down in those areas. So you have a wide array of transportation issues. And I know I become the new chairman of transportation this year, but I served on transportation in the House and the Senate for the last 15 years and served as a state trooper for 15. So I have 30 years of experience of being out there, seeing the transportation needs all across the state.
Great. Well, we're going to have to leave it at that because we're running out of time. I appreciate both of you being here, Delegate Terry Kilgore, Chairman of Commerce and Labor, and Transportation Secretary Bill Carrico.
Thank you.
Good luck in the remaining days of the session.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Cable Reports, brought to you by the Virginia Cable Telecommunications Association and Comcast. Until next time, I am Woody Evans.